Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey, welcome to another episode. I hope you're all ready to get into this topic because I'm actually quite excited to talk about employee versus entrepreneur, especially because I wish there was like something like this that I could have listened to, or something like this that I knew about, because there probably was something I could listen to, but that I knew about that would help me go from employee to entrepreneur. The reason I wanted to do this episode is because one of my listeners and followers on Instagram asked me, how do you go from an employee mindset to an employer mindset? And I think a lot of people are asking this question nowadays because we want more than one stream of income. So whether you're thinking about starting a business / side hustle, or leaving 9 to 5 altogether to become an entrepreneur full time, there are big shifts you have to make. And to be honest, there are a lot of things you just have to unlearn. You have to just throw a lot of things in the bin that you've learned as an employee. And that can be super hard. So I'm going to dive into like some points on how you can begin to shift your mindset from employee to employer, or from employee to entrepreneur. Because sometimes you can be an entrepreneur who doesn't actually employ anyone, like me, like a solopreneur. Like, yes, I have sometimes people freelance that come into my business and help me out, but I don't actually employ people and run payroll every month. Or you can be an employer who actually starts a business that requires you like to have staff. Like if you started a shop and you had shop assistants, sales assistants, whatever it is, and you have to payroll them every month. If you started, I don't know, you opened an after school club, which one of my bestie has done recently. She has to have staff that she pays and payroll. So just things like that, you have to think about, like different things like that. So let's talk about how we make the shift. First and foremost, I'm gonna need you to literally throw in the bin everything you've been taught about being a good employee, because that is not what's going to make you a good entrepreneur. First one being how we get paid. I've been wanting to talk about this so much as an entrepreneur. We are taught as employees that you get your salary, you do your work, and then you get your salary at the end of the month. For all my American listeners, because I know you guys are always shocked by this, in the UK, we get paid monthly. Not every 2 weeks, but every 4 weeks or every calendar month. So every month, once a month, at the end of the month. So if your payday is the 30th of every month, you get paid on the 30th. If your payday is the 15th of every month, you get paid on the 15th of every month. Like, we get paid one time. We work a month and we get paid. This is all we know here in the UK. And even if you're in the US and you get paid every 2 weeks, the same rule is going to apply here. We get paid on a set schedule when it comes to your 9 to 5. Unless you are like a temp worker or a contractor who maybe gets paid weekly, but even then, you're still paid on a set schedule. You know, at the end of every week, you're getting paid. Every Friday, you get paid. You know, on the 30th, you get paid. Like, you're paid on a set schedule. But I want you to think about this. I want you to flip this on its head. When you go shopping, whether that's to a supermarket, whether that's to H&M, Gucci, Prada, if that's what tickles your fancy, Primark, wherever it is that you shop, Target, I want you to think about the fact that you don't go there once a month. Like, you don't go shopping once a month at the end of every month, on the 30th of every month, or on the first Friday of every month. You don't go shopping like that. Therefore, those companies do not get paid like that. They can get paid on a random Monday or a Tuesday. Whenever you go shopping and you swipe your stuff and you pay for it, they have now been paid. That is how business works. That is how being an employer works. That is how entrepreneurship works. Also, they get paid more at certain times of the year, like at Christmas. Companies usually make a lot more money because we're all running around getting Christmas presents for the people we love and some of the people that we don't love. But we're getting gifts. We're doing Secret Santa at work. We're spending more money. So therefore, summer, we go out to eat more. We go out for brunch more. We spend more money. So those companies will have peaks. Whereas your salary is set. Until you ask for a pay rise or they give you a pay rise, your salary is set. So you know exactly how much you're going to get, not roughly, how much you're going to get at the end of every month. Now, unless there are changes to tax or national insurance laws, you will get that same amount every month for the rest of the year. Unless you get a pay rise, you will keep getting that. So if you, at the end of the month, you get £3,000 every month, you know at the end of the month, you're going to get £3,000. In a business, they can't say that because people don't shop. You can't guarantee the same amount of people that shop this month will shop next month. Especially when you are starting out as an entrepreneur. My gosh, there were months I made zero pence. No one bought nothing from me. And then there are months where I made more than I made in my 9 to 5. Like, make that make sense. You can't, because that's how it works as being an entrepreneur. You have to be good with your money. That's how businesses run. Some months, your company that you currently work for makes way more than other months. When I was working in my last job, there were months when we would make well over like 90K. And then there were months where we would make 30K. And that can be really unsettling when you first go into business, because you're like, why is my money not consistent? It's not meant to be consistent. People don't buy in a consistent pattern. If they did, you would only shop one specific day every month, just like you get paid one specific. We don't consume goods like that. If I need something from Amazon, I'm gonna order it today. I'm not gonna wait until the 30th of the month because what? No, I need it now. So I'm going to order it. I'm going to probably order many other things that I didn't need, but I'm going to order it and I'm going to get it. That's the biggest shift. That's the first shift. Your money will not be consistent because no company has consistent income. I've worked for some of the biggest companies in their human resources department, and month on month and year on year, the money does not look the same. Some years the money is out of this world. The profits are astronomical. And some years the money is low, 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 low. Look at the stock market, and the stock market will help you figure that out. There are companies right now, big brands, big trainer brands. I'm not going to say the name, but just big trainer brands. Go and look now how much they are down on income over the last year versus year on year last year on year, the year before. Like, just look at how far down they are from 2 years ago. But at some point that will go back up, hopefully. Stock goes up and down. Sales go up and down. Your salary didn't, because you was an employee. So you have to get out of that mindset. You have to get out of the mindset that every month you're going to make the exact same sort of money. That's not how it works. That's one of the first things you have to throw in the bin. Like, literally throw it in the bin. Another thing I need you to throw in the bin is not wanting to fail. And this one's really important because we can't fail in our 9 to 5. If we're crap at our jobs, we'll get sacked. We are not going out of our way to fail. We are trying to do things perfectly, do everything right. We're not trying to rock the boat too much. Now, even if we test something, even if we say, can I try this out? We don't veer too far away from the original plan because we still need to get the results that the company want. Again, otherwise we could lose our job. So in your 9 to 5, you make much more calculated risks. And really, you make no risks at all. Now, as an employer or an entrepreneur, you will take much bigger risks. Why? Because you need to see if something works really quickly. You need to fail at things so that you can figure out what works, so that you can get to that, so that you can grow your business. If you are scared to fail as an entrepreneur, you will never be able to figure out why something isn't working or why something is working. And it will take you longer to get to where you want, or you will give up. Because you'll be like, I don't understand. Again, goes back to that whole thing. I'm not making consistent money. But I don't understand why. But you have to be willing to fail to figure out, firstly, that consistent money is a myth. But secondly, to make money, you can't make the same amount, but to consistently make an income, you have to figure out what it is that is making people buy. You also have to be able to change and move with the time. So that's why you have to be able to take risks. There are so many people that only used to need Instagram to sell and they were making millions. I mean, millions. Now those same businesses have had to shift all their marketing because it doesn't work no more. Buyers are more sophisticated. You can't come online, throw something up on Instagram and think that people are just going to come pay you their hard-earned money. Absolutely not. Campaigns have to be more sophisticated. How many times a day does Fashion Nova text you? Let's keep it real. If you're on Fashion Nova, you know what I'm talking about. If you're signed up for the text messages, it's outrageous. But that's not the only way they market to you. Instagram. When you go on their website, you can spin a little wheel and get a little discount. I'm not advertising anyone. Let's just be really clear. I'm just explaining how companies have had to shift their marketing, have to shift their messaging to be able to continue to get sales. How many shops have we seen close on the high street? You go into the shopping centres now or the mall. If you're from the US, we do say mall as well here, but not really as much. So you go shopping, you go to the big shopping centre, and how many shops have shut down because people aren't going out into stores no more. We want to go online. If I want something, I just want to order it online. It's rare that I want to go to the shop and actually go and buy something. However, I will, especially if it's closed, because I want to try it on. I want to see how it looks. Like I want to do the thing. So I'll go. But they don't need as many stores. I was in a big shop the other day and they literally only had one person working on the till, but they had like 9 or 10 of it. Let's say 10 because it would have been even. 10 tills where you just self-serve. Now I'm used to like self-serving at a supermarket, but in a clothes shop. I was like, what? I've got to take my own tags off, do everything myself because there was only one person working a till. And then there was one person walking around helping everyone. That's how companies got rid of some of their staff because they were like, we don't need 10 cashiers no more. You lot will do it your damn self. I will have to do it my damn self. I will have to scan my own clothes and put them into my own bag. Like, what? I had no idea what I was doing. And at one point, the woman was like, oh, just drop it into the thing and it will scan it for you. I said, Madame, what is this? So understanding, think about it. Those employers, yeah, those people that own the business had to make a decision. Do you think people are going to be okay with scanning their own stuff? They could have tried it and everyone could have been fuming and said, nah, we ain't going back to that shop again. I want to be served. But they have to be willing to take the risk. They have to be willing to fail to be able to learn, to see if it works. Because for them, they're saving money on staffing. But what if you change the customer experience? Because if your customer's no longer happy, you no longer will have sales. If you no longer have sales, you won't have a business. So they will try it. And if it works in one store, they will start adding it to other stores because you need to learn. And the only way to learn is to fail quickly. Again, you would never want to fail in your 9 to 5. I promise you, fail a couple of times, you ain't got that job no more. We're taught to do a great job and stick to that great job and keep doing that great job and get better and better at that job. We are taught not to fail because we are taught if we fail, we could lose our job. So again, something you've got to unlearn, something you've got to get your brain around. Like, it's okay if I fail as an entrepreneur. Like, it's okay for me to test things out. It's okay for me to know, okay, for instance, I will know that at its core, my coaching program, Create Your Own Lane, helps people get money, get a new role. That's the basis. That's the middle. I know that that's what it does. But I might test extra things. Like I added career strategy sessions. I've been doing those for years now. But that's an addition. I added masterclasses. They could have crashed and burned and failed. I don't do masterclasses all the time on a regular basis. First time I ever did a masterclass, I think 2 people turned up. I still did another one. But again, why did I do another one? Because 2 people turned up. So I decided what went wrong, why more people didn't turn up. I could have said masterclasses just don't work. But I failed in the sense of, and I don't feel like I failed, but I failed at the time. I definitely felt like I failed. Because I was like, you couldn't even get 10 people to come to a masterclass. Wow. But I got 2 people. What made those 2 people come, but not other people? So then I had to figure that out. Then I started doing more masterclasses and I started having like 20 people on. Then people started to ask me to go to speaking. And I'd be like, I'm doing a speaking engagement for someone else. That person advertises me and there's like 50 people turning up. Why can't I get 50 people for myself on my own masterclass if 50 people want to hear me talk somewhere else? And I started looking, how are they advertising? What are they doing? What am I doing differently? But do you see, I had to do something and it not work out very well for me to see what works, what doesn't work. Now, if I had kept on doing those trial and error in my job, my 9 to 5, I don't think they would have kept me on. Do you understand? Unless I'm part of a team where trial and error is actually something that's okay. So we have to get out of that mindset. Firstly, how do we get paid? Totally not how you get paid in your 9 to 5. It's not regular and it's not the same amount of money all the time. And then secondly, we have to be willing to fail. Next thing you need to think about is that customer care and employee care, if you have employees, you need to care about them. It's super important, but so is money. Money has to be made. If your business isn't profitable, then how are you going to keep running it? How are you going to pay your staff? Businesses care about profits. And a lot of the time people will be like, yeah, see, they care about profits, not people. But I want you to understand that if a business doesn't make profit, it can't pay its people. So it works both ways. Yes, businesses should care about people because if the people don't work, you cannot make profits. But if the profits aren't made, the people can't get paid. So it works both ways. Yeah. Employees need employers and employers need employees. Companies, businesses, they need to make a profit. Unless it's a hobby. Now, if I said to you I was doing coaching just to help people out, that's a hobby. That's not my job. Coaching is my job. It's my business, but it's my job. Because sometimes people forget that. They're like, oh, yeah, you run a business, you can make the prices. No, 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 still my job. Same way I will tell you to negotiate salary and get paid your worth, I need to get paid my worth for my business. If I'm helping people get 30, 40, 50, 60K pay rises, change industries when they've been trying for years, that's value I'm adding to those people. Not everyone will be able to afford what I do. That's why I also do this podcast. This is a free resource. I literally coach on this podcast. Like, I talk you through a lot of the strategies and techniques that I teach my clients. So the difference with my clients is it's more personalized, it's one-on-one. When I'm doing podcasts, they're more general because I'm talking to lots of people. I'm not talking about one specific issue in one specific industry for one specific person who's maybe got 5 years behind their career or 10 years behind their career. Like, I'm not tailoring it specifically to the people. It's still a free resource. This is a free resource. I don't get paid for this resource. However, my job, my career coaching, I get paid for that. My 9 to 5, where I work 2 days a week, I get paid for that. Businesses care about profit. They have to care about profit. They shouldn't necessarily care about profit more than people because, like I said, it's interchangeable. If you only care about profit and you don't care about your people, guess what happens? Your people leave, and then you can't make any more profits because you've got no one to work for you. And vice versa. If you don't make profit to pay people, then you have to let all your staff go. So you have to be business minded. How am I going to make sure that my customers are happy, the people that work for me are happy, but also we are making money? And sometimes in that, some people are not going to be happy. Like I said, I say this all the time, you can't please all the people all the time. It just isn't realistic. But you should be working and striving to make sure people are happy, to make sure you've got a good brand and a good reputation. There will always be people that complain. Again, everyone is not going to be able to afford you. That's another thing you have to think about when you go into business and entrepreneurship. I wanted to do my podcast as a free resource. Like, I wanted to do my podcast. I wanted people to hear more of what I do. Obviously, people come to me and want to work with me because of my podcast. But my podcast, I feel, gives lots of value to people and it helps a lot of people. I've got so many episodes on so many different things when it comes to career. But I also have a job that I do, which is my career coaching, and not everyone can afford it. I'm not going to lower my prices so everyone can afford them, because then that's me shortchanging myself. The value that I give to someone is worth every penny that I'm asking for. If people do what I'm telling them to do, they work through the things, they work on their mindset. There's a lot of moving parts to career coaching. There's a lot of moving parts to confidence coaching. I believe if people work and do the thing, they will get some results. Some people get all the results at once, and some people it takes a little bit longer. It's no different from people that go to like therapy and stuff. You're not going to be one and done. Just go therapy sometimes and that's it. Some people have been in therapy for years. I'm not saying I want my clients to work with me for years because that's not how it goes. We don't work with each other for years, but I'm just saying. I do have clients that have worked with me, for instance, in 2021 that have come back this year and wanted to work on something different because they know they got results from the first time we worked together. But I can't lower my rate so that everyone can afford me. You couldn't walk into Prada and say to them, lower your rate so I can afford your bag. Absolutely not. If you can't afford a Prada bag, you're going to have to go somewhere else to get a bag, babes. If you walk into JD Sports and you can't afford any of the tracksuits or any of the trainers, you're going to have to go somewhere else, babes. That's just how it is. There's different things at different price points. I know my price points. I know there are coaches cheaper than me, and I know there are coaches more expensive than me. If you can get the same result that I can get my clients for someone cheaper, go for it. But I've had clients who come to me and have like, oh yeah, I worked with this career, I didn't get anything from it. I worked with this person, didn't get anything from it. Because you're not thinking about the value, you're thinking about the cheapness. And we all know if you pay cheap, you pay twice. Let's be real. When I go and buy a top from like a cheap shop, little white, like a white vest, a white tank top, I know next year that top is probably going to be rubbish and trash and throw it in the bin, but it was so cheap, I don't care. But now if I go and pay big expensive money for my tank top, I expect it to be fresh and in shape and ready to use the following year. If I buy an expensive swimsuit, I don't expect it to stretch out and be ruined within 6 months of like, I've used it this year summer and I can't use it next year summer. What, are you mad? If I don't want to use it because, it's not in style no more, that's different. But I should be able to use it. I don't buy expensive bags expecting for them to peel and do all kinds of nonsense. But if I buy a cheap bag and it peels, I'm annoyed, but it is what it is. Example, I bought a leather jacket recently. Very good bargain, £25. That thing peeled like, listen, I've had it less than a year, peeled. All the leather started to, it was faux leather, of course, FYI. All started to peel, all started to fall apart. I was upset. But guess what? The jacket I had before that, the leather jacket I had before that was like £85 and it lasted me for years. That's my expectation. I paid more for it. You get what you pay for. So no, as an entrepreneur, you cannot please all the people because there's going to be people that are like, you're way too expensive. Da, 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 da. You need to lower your prices. But now when you lower your prices for them, you will, it's what's really weird is when you lower your prices, the people that thought you were valuable before, like the people that were paying you your higher prices, will kind of walk away because now you're in. It's just it's a different vibe. Like when I go to Primark, I'm going to Primark. Like that's the vibe I'm going for. When I'm going to H&M, that's the vibe. When I'm going into Michael Kors or Coach or Prada, that's the vibe. They are not the same vibe. It's not the same. When I go to a Nando's or a McDonald's, I am not expecting Michelin star food versus when I go to a super nice restaurant, 3-star restaurant, 5-star restaurant that has Michelin stars. Like when I go to a nice restaurant and I'm paying my nice money, like I'm expecting a certain quality of food. When I spend £30 on food, it is not the same if I spend £300 on food. It better not be, because then I'm never spending the 300 again. Do you see what I mean? It's just a different clientele. You're working with different types of people. So you have to get in that mindset. You cannot please all the people all the time. Again, everybody is not meant to be able to afford you and your services. You position yourself. What is your service? Who is your service for? Is it a budget friendly? Like, is it a budget friendly, like say supermarket? Is it a more high end supermarket? You're not wrong for either one. Neither is wrong and neither is right. Some stuff are for budget, people on a budget, and some stuff are for people that want luxury and want to pay a little bit more. It's okay. It's okay that everyone can't afford you. Another thing that will be really helpful if you want to become an employer or an entrepreneur, if you can, get into senior leadership. Because if you get into senior leadership or you get into the C-suite or you like get into senior management in a company, that's going to help you learn quicker. I learned a lot about business from being in senior leadership. I actually think, even though I'm an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, and I run this business, I actually think I'd be good at running a proper business, like a full business. I know that sounds so bad, like I'm saying my business is not a proper business. What I mean is a business that employs loads of people. I think I'd be really good at that because I've done it. I've run a whole company. I've been a director. I understand the ins and outs. I understand payroll. I understand pensions. I understand literally the ins and outs of how the profit works and then how your overheads work. Like I learned all that because of being in senior leadership. Versus as an entrepreneur, it is just me and it feels a lot different because I'm all the departments. I'm HR, I'm payroll, I'm finance, I'm marketing, I'm all the departments, guys. Like that's much harder than when you like it's harder on you mentally and physically and time wise than if you hire other people. But when you hire lots of people and you have employees, that's hard too because you have to train them, you have to trust them, and you have to have the money to continually pay those people. So again, there's hard either side, whether you do entrepreneurship or whether you're an employer who runs a business with lots of people that you hire. And entrepreneurs can still be employers because there's a lot of coaches that have massive teams. I'm not there yet, guys. And I don't know if I ever want to be that there to the point where I have a massive team. Yes, I probably want to get to a point where I have a small team, maybe. But for now, we're not there. We don't want to be there yet. Like that's not my vibe yet. But I definitely could because I've done it before. And I did it because I got into senior leadership. So if you can get into senior leadership or you're currently in senior leadership, I want you to think about all the things you learned that when you were not in senior leadership, you didn't understand. Because before I became a manager, there were so many things I didn't understand. I was like, oh, why do they do this? They're treating everyone so badly. No, I realized they have to make profit. Otherwise, no one gets paid. And as much profit as you think they're making, they also have to pay overheads. So if a company reports it made like, I don't know, it made 2 million in sales. That's just in sales. You need to take out your operating costs out of that. So out of that, if you're not operating efficiently, you may have only made 500,000 if you're not operating efficiently and you're rubbish at, not rubbish at what you do, but your overheads are really high. Your staffing bill is really high. Like there are reasons why your money wouldn't always money, even if your sales are really high. So you have to think of it like that. And I know some of you are probably like, I don't know if they still, even if they made 500,000, which is half a mil, That's still more than I'm getting. I get it. I hear you. But what I'm saying is when you get into senior leadership, you can start to understand how things work from the top down. You can understand sometimes why they make the decisions they make. You can understand sometimes why they need to restructure because maybe they're not making enough profit and they've got too many people doing something that they think, how can we reduce the people so that we can reduce our staffing costs, which feels horrible when you know that people need to eat and people have got families just like you have. But you also know that if you don't reduce here, the whole business could go to, like, your business could be done. So understanding that from a senior leadership perspective, like, if we don't get this under control, we might have to shut the whole business down. You realize you have to make the hard decisions. And that's the next thing I'm going to go on to. You will have to make hard decisions. Needing constant outside validation will hold you back 100%. And also not being able to give yourself grace will hold you back. Because like I just said, sometimes you've got to make hard decisions, which might include firing people. I still to this day, no matter how long I've been in HR, no matter how many tribunals I've been a part of, no matter how many disciplinaries or grievances I've had to listen to, hear, and then basically cast judgment on or make a decision on, it doesn't get easier to fire people. I hate it. It's actually something I really hate. It's actually something that literally to my core makes me sad. But I also have to because I've been on the other side, FYI. Like I've been fired, so it feels horrible, especially when people don't see it coming. Or I've had to like when I've had to restructure, people don't see that coming because you're restructuring the whole company. Who knew that the company was running out of money? Like, do you know what I mean? No one in senior leadership was telling you. They were telling you everything was fine. Whole time they knew that everything wasn't fine and that if they didn't start making money in the next 3 to 6 months, that people was going to have to be like departments were going to have to close. So what I'm saying is like you will have to make some of the toughest decisions you've ever had to make. And sometimes when you've got employees, you've got other people's lives in your hands. And that can be really hard. That can play a real toll on you. So you have to give yourself grace and understand that you made the decisions because there was no other options. You made the decisions because they need to be made. Also, sometimes people are just not compatible with your company. Like you're growing and these people are digging their heels in and saying they don't want to change and they want to keep doing things how you've been doing it for the last 5 years. But you know, if you keep doing things for the last 5 years, you'll be obsolete because the world changes. So you have to change and adapt. You have to be willing to get rid of those employees. They're not for you anymore. They was for you for a time and they might not be for you anymore. Hard decisions about not being able to give people the pay that you might want to give them because your profit just isn't leaning towards that. It's not allowing for you to be able to pay people more. You know, I'm the queen of like, listen, ask for your worth, go where they can afford you. And sometimes your company genuinely can't afford you. Not because they don't want to, your company, you have definitely worked for a company who wanted to give you more money who wasn't able to. Because I know I have. I've worked in companies where they were like, Adele, what can we do to keep you? We can't give you the money you want, but we don't want to lose you. There was nothing they could do because they just couldn't afford me no more. You get better at what you do every year, every month. So you're going to be wanting more money. But the company sometimes genuinely can't afford to. Their overheads are too much. They're running all these offices. That's why a lot of companies want people to come back to work because they've got these long leases and they're still paying rent at a lot of these buildings and the buildings are empty. They need you to come back to work because the overhead cost is still there. Just because it's almost like having a house that you don't live in, but you also don't rent out. And then you live in a second house. You still got to pay both houses. You can't say to like the bank, oh, I don't live there, so I'm not going to pay the mortgage for the next few months. And I haven't been able to find tenants. No, you still have to pay it, right? Same with companies. The overhead is still there. They have to still pay for the Wi-Fi, whatever else they have to pay for everything. So they need to come to office. I get it from both sides. You guys know I'm an advocate as an employee. Like I'm an employee and I'm an advocate for it, but I'm also an entrepreneur. So I understand business at a higher level. And when you want to switch your mindset around, you have to start to understand the bigger picture and you have to make the hard decisions. Bigger picture. That's another good point. When we go to our 9 to 5, we kind of just do the work. We know what work needs to be done. We know what results they want and we just do it. But in business, you have to think of the bigger picture. Because as the world evolves, your business probably has to grow. Like for me, Create Your Own Lane is my long-term coaching program where people work for me for anything from like 8 weeks up to like 4 months. That's a longer term coaching program. Since the world has gone mad and things have changed, not as many people can afford my longer term coaching program, which is fine. Doesn't mean I got rid of it. It's still there because people are still buying it, just maybe not as much. But what people are buying in like the hundreds, which is way more than I was like selling before, are my career strategy sessions. People they want those 90 minutes. They want the 2 weeks of Oxford support. They want the CV rewritten, but that's what they can afford. So they'll do a 90-minute session with me. And then maybe they'll come back a month later and do another 90-minute session. But what I'm saying is people's budgets have changed. So you have to look at the bigger picture. Does what you offer still make sense for people? Like, a lot of companies shut down their physical shops and moved a lot of their stuff online. Now that's horrible for all the employees that worked in the physical shop, because now they're out of a job unless they can be a part of the online team and they understand how to do that. But when you shut down physical shops, it means that people can't go shopping. But why did they do that? Because more people were shopping online. More people moved and shifted to shopping online. Why do you think Amazon blew up? Amazon was already massive, but it blew up. Why? Because people shifted to shopping online, and then people got used to shopping online. People got used to ordering your stuff, it comes to your house, try it on, do whatever. Whether it's clothes, whether it's food, if you don't like it, you're like, okay, send it back. Can't send back food, FYI, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like products, skincare, clothing, shoes, whatever it is, nail polish, I don't care. You can order it, you can decide, and then you can send it back as long as it hasn't been used. So people started to do that. So companies realize we've got all these overheads with all these stores that aren't making any money. So you've got to look at the bigger picture. Where does the world look like it's going? Currently, companies are thinking about how AI is going to change their staffing teams. You've got to look at the bigger picture, not the right now. As an employee, you just do the work. You do whatever's right now. And then someone tells you, like, listen, in the next 3 years, we think this is going to happen. So this is how the business is changing. Now you have to be that person. You have to have the vision to think what is happening in the world. You have to be able to keep on top of current affairs, research, how a business is doing things. You are that person, especially when you start out. When you start making money, you can afford to get a team. You can have someone else do that for you. But at the beginning, it's you. So these are just a few things, yeah? Because there is a lot of, like, I'm giving you like some key points that you need to take into consideration, but there's also like a lot of mindset work that you've got to do. Like, you have to be able to shift and be like, okay, I'm okay with having to prioritize profit sometime. Like, you have to work through that, and that's going to take a lot of like journaling, mindset work. You might need to do meditation. You will mess up your nervous system. I promise you, when I went into entrepreneurship, my nervous system was a wreck. Firstly, I'm putting all this work in and then not getting paid at the end of the month, or not making any money. What? Like, my nervous system was breaking down, because it was like, oh my God, what? That means I'm rubbish at what I'm doing. It wasn't to do with rubbish. That's entrepreneurship when you start out. I was thinking, listen, when you have a 9 to 5, you work your butt off, they pay you at the end of the month. That's not how entrepreneurship works. You can do all the work, all the right things, and no one wanted to pay you that month. No one wanted what you were selling. What do you do then? Look at all these big companies that have been in business for years, and people wanted what they were selling. And then one day people just stopped wanting it and the companies went out of business. It will mess with your nervous system. It will mess with your mind. So there's a lot of work behind the scenes that has to go into it. And that's incorporating all the different mindset techniques. Working on your belief system. What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that even if you don't make money this month, you can make money next month? Do you believe that your business can be profitable, even when you're not seeing the profits coming in? Do you believe that all your hard work will pay off? Someone told me once in entrepreneurship, or no, I listened to it on a podcast actually. It was a Catherine Morrison podcast, for anyone who wants to know, because I remember. And she said, as an entrepreneur, she was telling herself, or she created a mantra, or she created a thought, a belief that money was the last confirmation. Meaning she was going to do all the hard work, speak to all the different people, do all the networking, go to all the right places, be seen, be helpful, do all the free resources, and money would only show up as the last confirmation. She knew money was coming when she would answer questions and people would ask more questions. She said she knew money was coming when she would put out her free resource and people would tell her how much they loved it. She knew money was coming when she'd be asked to go to speaking things, even if they weren't paid. But those things let her know that money was coming. So money was the last confirmation. And I started to live by that. And then my business like blew up, because I believe that money is the last confirmation. I'm getting all the other confirmations, like people love my content, people love my podcast, people want to talk to me all the time, people ask to interview me, all the things. Money was the last confirmation. I did a lot of work in 2019 and 2020 before money started to come in more regularly, before money became more consistent, before people was looking for me rather than me looking for them. So I just want you to understand that, like, as an entrepreneur, there will always be a lot of messy mindset stuff, but you can get through it. You can work through it. I hope this episode has helped someone, because I know I've shared a lot, but switching from being an employee, switching that employee mindset to an employer mindset, there are quite a few steps. And the first thing is to unlearn a lot of what you've learned in the 9 to 5 world. And that's really hard if you are a high achiever in your 9 to 5. I know, and I know from experience, because even though I've been able to negotiate full-time hours, like full-time money for part-time hours, pensions, parking spaces, extra annual leave, I still found entrepreneurship super, super hard, because I understand the 9 to 5 world. If you do X, you get Y. If you do Y, you get Z. That's not how entrepreneurship works. You can do X and Y and still not get Z. You can do A and B and still not get C. You can do all the right things and still end up with a zero balance in your bank account. So I just want you to know that, like, there are steps. And if you're currently an entrepreneur and you don't see the money coming, it is coming. Look for confirmation in other places. Are people enjoying what you do? Are people interested? Are you getting inquiries? Like, that's really important too. Are people showing interest in your business, your brand, and you? Money is coming, but it might not come as quick as you want it to. One thing in entrepreneurship, you cannot time frame yourself. You cannot say, I'm going to make money in the next 3 months. Absolutely not. You will make money will come, but you have to be consistent. You can't stop and start in entrepreneurship, because when you stop and start, you start back at the beginning. You start from ground zero, because people forget who you are. Social media and wherever you're showing up, websites, they all get like old really quickly if you're not active on them on a regular basis. So bear that in mind. So I hope that's helped for anyone who was thinking, how do I get out of my employee mindset and start to get into an entrepreneur mindset or an employer mindset? This is just the start, guys. So this isn't the beat. This ain't going to get you all the way there. These are just some beginning tips to start to get you on your journey. Hope this has been helpful, and I'll speak to you on the next episode. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.